Yeah, so welcome everyone. So welcome to the next video. So obviously moving on from the last one where we looked at time and price, but on a weekly perspective, we're going to be looking at the daily perspective and what goes on intraday. So if you lot have been following my Telegram for the past few months, you're going to be seeing that time and price is so key in my strategy, and it's going to be especially in yours. Even if you're trading on a weekly perspective and you haven't got too much time, so you're setting limits and everything, you've got to understand if your price, if yeah, obviously price comes to your point of interest at a certain time and it's not in the right frame, then that's one of the confirmations that you should not take that trade. And this is one of the key things that confirms our trades as well. Time and price is so key, and it's just the binding effect of everything in our strategy. Okay. So I'm going to be looking at the UK times. Obviously, please convert this to wherever you live. Say, for example, in the US, you're in Africa, Asia, wherever you may be, just convert it to your time frames as well. But this is what we look at. Asian range. So we've got the Asian session between 12 a.m. midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning. Then London session, the key time is between 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Then New York, key time as well, 12 p.m. lunchtime to 2:30 p.m. And then the close of the day is for me it's considered after 4 p.m. So when London and New York pretty much closing off, New York is still running, but obviously much less volume because London is closing. But that main session that we're going to be looking for is that London and New York overlap between around 2 o'clock between 12 o'clock and around 2 o'clock. Okay, so let's look at the Asian session firstly. So what are characteristics? You got the least amount of volume throughout the day. As a result, usually it creates a range-bound market. Liquidity will most likely be formed on both sides of the market. As you can see, when there is consolidation, from what we learned in the last section in our consolidation lesson, liquidity is usually formed on both sides of the market. So price can go either way. So usually I would say if you can just stick away from trading Asian session because there's not that much volatility. There's not many price movements. Uh, but this is what frames the rest of the day. If this session is very active and causes high amounts of movements, just know that New York and London may not be the best time for you to trade. It might not present the best opportunities because we've already seen that form of liquidity and institutional flow during Asian session. What we would usually want in our strategy is for Asian session to be very quiet, create both sides of liquidity, and they're the two checkpoints. Once you get them after 5 a.m., if you see that happening, then you use London to understand, okay, this is what's going on. Now we can get into a trade, and then potentially New York and London to get into trades. Now, the second session. Obviously, London goes on for much further than what I'm stating, but the main zone that we look at is between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. And of course, the London to New York overlap. That's the key part. But this part's also important as well. In the beginning of the day, or in my day, for example, I'd wake up 7 a.m., get ready to trade, 8 a.m., get on the charts. Usually, it creates a false movement to trick the day traders into the wrong bias. So what you could expect, as seen on the charts, you got that Asian range, that buildup of liquidity. Then between 7 or 8 to 10 a.m., you're going to see that high or the low of the day, depending on, obviously, are you downtrending or are you uptrending? So you start to see these setups happen between 8 and 10. Obviously, the bigger price movements will happen after that time, but this is what sets up the day, and that's where you can try and get your entry in. As you can see at the bottom, if you just zoom in over there, right here is we got the fake move, boom, break of structure to the upside, exactly what we want to see, then retrace back down to a discounted area, enter on the 1 minute or 5 minute, and then boom, you've got what, potentially a 1 to 10 or 1 to 20 for the day. It's insane what you could be doing in a London session. Then New York, Okay, so we saw that massive move to the upside, right? So what can we see during London and New York? Usually this is where we see the most volume in the trading day because you've got all the traders from London offices and you've got all the traders in New York offices, obviously putting all their orders in and everything like that. Plus, if you look at volume indicators, over time, you're going to see New York and London overlap has the most volatility. So once New York creates the low or the high of the day, New York may give a perfect opportunity for retracement to get into the correct move. Okay, so now we know the fake move was to the downside. Now we got into a retracement in London. And what can we do to double down on this position? We can also enter on a retracement in New York. What will usually happen is price will retrace to like a discount area. But if you see a valid breaker block, as you see here, breaker block and that standard order block, if you just entered on the wick of that breaker block, you would have been in. However, if you're waiting for a discounted area, for this day, you would not have been in. Perhaps on another day, you would have been triggered in. And yeah, personally, I would recommend New York London overlap is the best time to trade in the day. Please try keep this, like monitor this time every single day. When it gets to the end of the day, back test what happened and just see the characteristics. If we are in a downtrend, see did it make any moves to the downside as well. Then we've got the end of the day where London closes and New York is starting to close as well after 4 p.m. So it's the end of the trading day. Price movements in the correct direction will start to slow down, either consolidate or retrace for a bit back to, a sustainable area. If you're intraday trading, please, I would recommend to just take partials unless you're obviously aiming for higher profit targets and you've got the rest of the week to look forward to. So if this was on a Tuesday, okay, I might have until Thursday for the price movement to continue. But yeah, end of the day, just get off the charts at 3-4 o'clock. Live your life a bit. Just enjoy the profits for the day. And then just a review of what happened. I mean, this was, I think, a month ago, something like that on EU. Got this entry for a 1 to 14 intraday and then a 1 to 6 as well, using both sessions to my advantage. But yeah, guys, just take notes of what each one is like. So obviously you got the Asian range, the London fake out, New York retracement, and then end of the day you get off the charts. Pretty much in 4 phrases, that's how I would sum up the day. Depends what time of the day you are in the week as well. Remember, this is most likely for like a Tuesday high or a Tuesday low, perhaps even Thursday as well. When you start to see that reversal, this could work as well. If it is a Monday or a Friday, obviously be wary. There's going to be different market cycles happening. But yeah, guys, anyways, hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.